In war and politics, as Chris alluded to, he who defines the field of battle wins. That's our Why It Matters segment tonight. Having a safe city, well, that isn't a left or right issue. At least it shouldn't be. Fighting crime for most common sense Americans is a right versus wrong issue.
Chicago, everybody knows how bad it is. Everybody standing there knows. We know. You don't have to be doing any studies. They should be saying, please come in. Pritzker should be saying that.
Yeah, having spent a lot of time recently in Chicago, fact check true. How can you argue with that? It is painfully obvious that Chicago needs help. It's a battle Trump shouldn't have to be fighting, but for the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago, fighting against Trump is more important than protecting their citizens.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
The Chicagoans are not calling for a military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment.
Yeah. They say now the plan is to fight Trump in the courts, and I'm not a constitutional scholar and don't want to play one on TV. But here is the better question. Why is this a fight? A few facts here. Illinois is broke. Chicago is a financial disaster. Major companies, Boeing, Citadel, Citi, Tyson's Foods, Caterpillar, they're all leaving because of high taxes and out-of-control crime. This isn't a new problem in Chicago. How do we know that? Because, well, we have a station in Chicago, and we went back more than 45 years in the archives of our Chicago station. So whatever they've been doing for 45 years to fight crime in Chicago is not working.
Chicago has experienced a 20% increase in the reported rape cases this year.
Chicago police say a rape and robbery suspect arrested today after an attack on a blind couple fit the description of the suspect in at least 4 other rapes in the Newtown area.
19-year-old Bernadette Beal was found murdered Tuesday night in an elevator of the Chicago Housing Project building where she lived.
District 9 police are busy investigating another shooting in the area, this one leaving a 20-year-old man dead.
Plus a scare tonight in the Chicago subway as a gunman opens fire with a semi-automatic weapon and wounds a mass transit worker.
Search is underway at this hour for the man who shot 2 people outside a cell phone store.
The city's crime statistics for July paint a disturbing picture.
Carjackings are on the rise in Cook County and could set a record not seen in 20 years.
Like 50 people shot over the weekend in Chicago, 12 of them killed, making this the deadliest weekend so far in 2021.
So whatever they've been doing in Chicago for the past 50 years isn't working. So maybe they should try something else. But no, the mayor of Chicago says jails are racist.
The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
Here's the truth. Pritzker and Johnson are far, far more concerned with fighting against Trump than protecting their city. We know this because it's all they talked about at their press conference today. We were watching the press conference, the entire thing. Pritzker assembled everybody, the mayor, a bunch of congressmen and senators. He'll probably use at least 1 or 2 of the clips for his coming presidential run. They came to say Chicago is safe, and they do not need Trump. They are going to fight him. It was an hour into the press conference, and Pritzker still hadn't talked about the 6 people murdered over the past weekend. So we had our reporter Mills Hayes ask him about it. She joins us tonight from Chicago. Mills, good evening.
Hi, Leland. The governor strongly rejecting the idea of the National Guard coming in. He says that troops are meant for the battlefield, not for arresting criminals. And here's how he responded when I asked about the violence over the past weekend.
Governor Pritzker, we've spoken to some Chicagoans who do not want the troops to come in, but we've also spoken to some people who do want the troops to come in to handle crime. What would you say to those Chicagoans and also to the families of the 6 people who were killed by gun violence in the city this weekend?
Look, every single person that is the victim of violence in any city across the entire United States is worthy of our sympathy and also worthy of having law enforcement go after the perpetrators. That is what we do in the city of Chicago. That is what we do in the state of Illinois.
A Democrat that we spoke with at the press conference says he lives on the South Side and kids there at any time of day can't walk freely without the fear of being a victim of a drive-by shooting. We also spoke with another woman with her own story. She had a friend who was murdered by a drive-by shooting last month. It's something that haunts her every day. But of course, Leland, we also spoke with many people here in Chicago who agree with the governor and with the mayor that this is all just political theater. Leland?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.